It's never a good idea to go on a date with a total stranger. But what about rejecting a date with not just a stranger, but one of the most dangerous serial killers in history of mankind? I know it may sound creepy, but believe me, it gets better. Our story was firstly told in 1977 by Mrs. L. Hayes, a beautiful new mom that was going broke after leaving her job to take care of the baby, so her mother employed her with her younger sister in their furniture shop. Mrs. L says that on one of the sunny summer days, her mom was bringing a truck full of pine European furniture that kept them busy for hours due to the hustle of refurbishing. Until suddenly the door of the shop opened and a handsome, smiling young man entered. He headed directly to her younger sister of 17 years old, and after a few minutes of weird chit-chats and laughs, he introduced himself to her as Teddy Smith. Mr. Smith was nice and attractive in his way and his words, and they even laughed with him casually with no bad hunches of him. After a quick turn, he bought a wardrobe and paid cash for it and asked to leave it in the shop till he comes back with a truck. Few minutes later, he invited them out to dinner, but they had to politely refuse the invitation. Strangely enough, Mr. Smith insisted, asking Elle to ride with him to grab a truck and get back to load the wardrobe. And of course, Elle apologized politely as her baby was waiting for her back home. As Mr. Smith was stubborn as fuck, he told them that he will come back to the store at night at 10 p.m. with a truck and asked if they'll still be there. Elle replied that they were closing 6, so that won't be possible. So he asked if it'll be possible next day at night. But again, Elle said it won't be doable. He thought for seconds and asked that one of them would meet him in the morning at 5:30 a.m. before the opening time so that he would take the wardrobe before the traffic jams and take advantage of the calm atmosphere. But the two girls refused and said the time was appropriate. And at that point, they started to feel that he's creepy as hell. I wonder why it took them so long though. So, after all his failed attempts, he apologizes for the purchase. His argument was that their shop working hours are not suitable for him. At 6 o'clock that day, as they were closing and headed out, they were shocked to see him in a car looking at them, and in no time he were out and heading towards them. Here was alarmed and pulled her sister's hand and directly went to their car and went home. Until about a year had passed by this day, the two sisters were watching TV to suddenly see the picture of the handsome young man in the news, and the reporter says that he was arrested on charges of serial murders and that the young man kidnapped, raped, and killed at least 30 girls between 1974 and 1978 in 7 different states and 30 countries. He admitted after a decade of denial in 1989. While the real number of victims is unknown, it is believed to be around 65 victims of him. Elle and her sister did not know that they were talking in person with one of the most dangerous serial killers in our history, escaping from the hand of one of the most famous serial killers in that time was their miracle, who was followed by millions of people over the course of about 10 years until his confession, conviction, and death sentence on the electric chair on January 24, 1989, and his name continues to mimic until this moment. That man, Mr. Smith, real name was Theodore Bundy, or as he's called by the media, Ted Bundy. Let's all pray for those who lost their lives cause of this psychopath. Thanks for watching. Until next time.